Hey,
What's
hey,
up,
hey,
everybody?
we're
What's going
back.
on?
Hi,
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening.
wherever you are.
Love entrepreneurs, we're here. Another conversation, dialogue, the business fellowship. A lot of great conversation, a lot of great things happening. So we're back here again today for a conversation. Hopefully, from this conversation, a couple of things will happen. One, you'll be inspired to really want to get connected and see how you can take your business to the next level by leveling up, connecting with some like-minded individuals. And two, you'll tell somebody else so they can have the same kind of experience.
All right.
That's the goal. How you doing, Oliver?
I'm good, man. I am good. Back for another week with the Love Entrepreneurs crew. It's always good to hang out with some good folks who are moving the needle and who are uh, interested in moving the needle for others as well. So good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Absolutely. What's up, Roy? Roy's out there.
Roy is in the
Australia.
house.
Yeah.
Woohoo, Rob! Woohoo!
Mhm.
Woohoo, Roy!
My Australian
Woohoo
friend.
to you too. I'm a
Lisa.
poet. I didn't
Hi.
even know it. Actually, yes.
I'm doing good, man. It's hot outside, so I don't mind being in here with you all this evening, being cool. And those Canadian wildfire
Yeah.
smoke, it's still playing a factor here. So I'm glad to be indoors with you all discussing great, invigorating topics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Invigorating topics. I like that word.
Invigoration. Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Mhm.
And Miss Larry, where are you at exactly again? Because
I'm at Bath in England, so it's pleasantly. It's just for us lot, it's about 23 degrees, which is for us is about a heat wave.
Celsius.
So
That's
it's
Celsius.
Yeah, that's Celsius for those of you who like
yeah,
what 23 degrees.
Like, wait a minute.
yeah, no, it's nice. It's nice. Not too hot. It's not too cold. So it's perfect, really. So
Mhm.
Is it
yeah.
humid over there?
No. It's not. We've done our heat wave. We've had our summer now, so we've gone into.
Yeah, see, that's good. If it's not humid, because
Yeah,
you're right around for those who want the conversion, that's a little over 73 degrees Fahrenheit.
yeah,
It's crazy, right? Because here yesterday morning, it was around that mark, the 73-degree mark,
Mhm.
but it was like 80 something percent humidity.
yeah.
So it was still as soon as you went outside, because normally when you think 73 degrees, that's perfect weather.
Should be.
Still went outside and was like
Yeah.
it just was
wow.
it was
The air
crazy.
was thick.
Air was super thick because it was like
Yeah.
80. I think it was like something like 86 or 87%
Mm-hmm.
humidity, and this was like
That's a
at
lot.
8:30 in the morning. You know, and it stayed there.
Earth, man.
So,
Earth going through it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's the seasons. It's definitely the seasons.
We've got Mr. Ian Genius waiting in the wings. I'm told.
Mr. Ian
Who we
Genius.
got?
I
Who
don't. I,
be that? Who
I
be
don't. I
that?
don't see him down there.
Oh, could it be that
Alakazam.
long,
Okay.
long link? Right, Alakazam. Okay, so let me try and send him the right link. Put the commercial music on.
Ian
Yeah.
Genius is on the
Yeah.
way. Yeah,
Good.
so
Go
He
ahead.
did,
here another
he
week.
did a big fix for us this week, right? So
Mhm.
Yes.
great. So
That was fun.
That was
oh,
actually.
he's sitting backstage and he can hear you. How does that happen? Is he behind me?
Interesting.
Interesting.
That
Can't
is-
see him at the bottom. Huh?
Let me see.
Not yet. Not yet.
Let's see. Oh, you know what? Because I had a PDF sitting in the wings waiting to come up. That was his stream spot. So now I pulled the
Ah,
PDF and beam me
And
up.
there he is.
there we
Beam him
go.
up.
Oh, the genius.
There he is.
Ian Genius is in the house.
Beam
You
genius.
genius is in the house. Whoop, 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 whoop.
What's happening?
Yes.
Listen, it's It's
didn't think
it's
you were
late
gonna let
for
me
y'all,
on.
man. It's nightcap time for you guys.
Yeah, I'm normally
Yes, I've got my San Pellegrino limonata without any alcohol. That's how exciting my life is.
All right. That's something.
Hey, that'll work. That'll work. I love it.
I was listening to the chat about degrees Fahrenheit and humidity, neither of which mean absolutely anything to me at all.
Hey,
Mm.
I'm
It's just not a thing.
that's good.
It's just, I don't know if it's good or bad or indifferent, any of those numbers you gave me. It mean nothing.
You're gonna have to come over and find out. You're gonna have to just come over here and find out for yourself. It's the only way, Ian. It's the only way.
Now I'm gonna tell you this though. I will take this any day. I just told somebody the other day, I'll take 300 degrees Fahrenheit over snow. I'm not a fan of snow at all.
I'm a
You're
skier.
inside looking
I'm
out.
not
I
a fan.
mean,
Well, it's one thing to go and ski and go and, have fun and frolic and all of that, but for it just to be sitting here and I got to navigate it every day,
the work part. Okay, I get
I don't
it.
like.
I get
And
it.
then it was worse for me too because I spent several years of my life in Southwest Michigan. So if you know anything about the upper
Oh,
Midwest,
Yeah.
they get dumped on.
like nothing. Just
Yeah.
weekly, right?
Yeah, they get dumped on. And it was so crazy that it was snow. I remember when the kids were small, it would snow 10 inches and there would not even be a delay.
That's the life.
Like
That's
they just
you
used to it.
function anyway.
Yeah, you just used to it. And so I was like, I can't do this no more. Like this is crazy.
That doesn't
Ross,
sound right.
Ross said no snow for me either. That's Coach Ross. I know him for a long
Can't do
time.
it,
Help
man.
coach. Man, it's like, yeah, I hear you. My mom left. She moved to Vegas for that very same reason. Yeah,
Listen,
I'm gone. I'm gone. She's out.
Yeah.
I'm
Just went straight to the desert just to forget it.
And we're talking about seasons, and so there's a season for every business owner called the first season. All right.
Yep.
It's that
Great
first
segue.
season. Trying to get out there, and what that looks like, and how hard it can be to survive that season. As a matter of fact, the data shows that not many businesses survive that rough season. But the ones that do and the ones that will, there are a few elements that they can use to help them. And I think that we're going to be talking about some of those elements that will help you whether you are just starting your business or whether you currently are in flow. These will still be some things that can help you. Business development.
So out of interest, I mean, we had so Ian, you came to do the big fix with us this week, and last week we had a really interesting session. So we took Oliver through his own little mini fix, didn't we? Which is really quite cool.
And that was good.
Ian, we thought we'd introduce you live onto the crew tonight. So, how did you find it? How did you find the experience? Be honest, as I'm sure.
Yeah, really good. I like the way it was. I like the way it was structured. With the first chunk was like I say, you were saying, look, I don't want solutions yet. I just wanted people to do more, in-depth probing to find out. Because people want to rush to solutions, don't they? That's the thing. People always want to quickly, I've got a solution straight away. So I like the way it was structured, and people were delving more, and then after everyone had done a bit more, offering solutions.
And did you find though that were you surprised by some of the things? Because for you, talking about businesses that are starting their first season. I mean, for me, when I started my first business, the first thing I did was I got a coach, and I went through a series of sales training programs and marketing. Because although I'd heard of the concepts, I didn't really know anything about them, right? So that's the first thing I did. I mean, how many in your experience? I mean, are you surprised at how many, people don't approach you or think that they know about sales? You might as well tell everybody what you do, because they obviously, people who are listening in probably don't know. So apart from your lovely name.
Yes, so I am.
Genius.
So I am Ian Genius with an Ian Genius alternative to selling. So I teach people how to double their sales conversion without getting better at selling. And so for me, yeah, I mean, people often think either their sales are good, but for me, I don't care if someone's sales are rubbish, someone's sales are good, or someone's sales are excellent. What I want to deal with is people who want to improve. They don't, even if someone converts 7 out of 10, whoopee do, 8, 9, and 10. Why would they want to make a bad choice? Why wouldn't you want to help them as well? So it's just about improving. But to show sometimes it's like, can you afford to not get better at selling? Showing people how much money they're leaving on the table. And when you show people how much money they're leaving on the table, whether it's instead, all the times they say no and go to your cheaper competition, do it themselves or do nothing. Every time they do use you, but they take your bronze service instead of your gold or one of your 3 recommended services. Doesn't help the client because they miss out on your help. Doesn't help you because you miss out on their business. So once you show people how much they're missing, then they go, oh, maybe I do need to improve my sales.
Absolutely. And what's the biggest barrier? I mean, the thing is, in the US, it strikes me people are much more used to having sales professionals. I mean, they really do take customer service really seriously and sales professionals really, really seriously, much more so than we do maybe here.
Yeah. I mean, like in England, obviously sales are seen as the sort of sleazy car salesman, pushy.
Hello, little girl.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Pushy, sleazy, manipulative, pushing people into decisions they didn't want to make, forcing, making them buy under duress, regretting with buyer's remorse. Just it's got a bad reputation, a lot of it, but the thing is, it doesn't matter how good your service is. It could be the greatest thing known to man, but if they're not choosing it, doesn't matter. So before they can use you, they have to choose you. So you've got to sell it. It doesn't matter what you call the word, whether you call it sales or helping people to make better choices. But without that chunk, what you do is never going to get used.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, one of the things I wanted to explore very briefly that we explored today in the Big Fix. I mean, you guys in the US, that because selling is not a dirty word for you guys, is it? It's something to be, you create relationships, you make friends, you help people, you serve people. But in the UK, I've often been to some networking groups that people are saying, whatever you do, don't sell. And I've often sat there thinking, hang on a minute, are you for real? Why am I here at 7:30 a.m. in the morning if I'm not trying to sell something to somebody? I hardly know most of the people in the room. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's how it gets a bad reputation.
That's a good point. I agree. That's a good point. I think we're sometimes so consumed with not stepping on toes that we step on toes, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to be like I wake up in the morning, everybody else is asleep, so I'm tiptoeing and I'm trying to be quiet. And the more I try, the more noise I make. I'm banging doors and drop bowls and all that kind of stuff. I think that's what happens with this as well. Like there's so many different ideologies around how you should approach this. When at the end of the day, you can't tell somebody, hey, you can't sell, and the goal of their business is to sell.
Well, this is it. I've never really, nobody wants a hard, pushy salesperson, right? Oh, you must know. But you do build your relationships with people. Of course you do. But what amazes me about businesses in the UK very often is the last thing on their minds is taking sales training seriously. It is the best thing you could ever do. It's the first job I ever had. The first job I ever had was telesales. Best thing ever.
Everything in life really revolves around sales. Every single thing. Getting your kids to clean their room, or getting someone to understand.
That's a negotiation.
Everything is negotiation. And your ability to articulate what you want done in a convincing way is the key. How we get to that is many roads, but yeah, Ian the Genius, I'm sure, can enlighten us. How was your how was your experience with the Big Fix? So, Ian, like, what would you say the number one thing you discovered from that experience?
Well, we discovered a lot of things, so I was trying to work out ways to produce a package that's like one for many. So instead of working on one, get far more people to the dance, and not only create a situation where there's a rinse and repeat, whether that's rinse and repeating that someone can do a course and 2 months later when they effectively need a refresher of it, because no one goes to school for one day and then goes, that's it, I've done it now. They go back to keep drilling it in. So rinse and repeat so that people can keep going on and topping, refreshing. Rinse and repeat so that you can get another batch of people doing the same thing that didn't know it existed the first time round. Having a way to get people moving through the gears so that they do a course on price and value, then they do a course on confidence and messaging, how to, about keeping people on the wheel, keeping them going, because it's very easy to get people on a conveyor belt with your business and then just let them fall off the end. Just a quick one though, it isn't an England versus America thing regarding sales, because I've been to online in meetings in America and they've started the meeting going, has anyone here come to buy things today? And they've gone, no, well, let's not have any sell. That's my American, by the way. If you
I hear it. Not bad.
Yeah,
That's good. That's good.
I've had it even in American meetings where they've said, no one's come here to buy, so don't sell. But the thing is, in any meeting, there's only really 4 outcomes, right? You don't buy anything off me, I don't buy anything off you, and we never talk to each other again, right? That's pretty pants. I buy something off you, you buy something off me, or we're both interested enough that we want to work with each other, right? So even if it's you buy off me or we work together, the working together is the best option. I've got to make my thing exciting enough that you want to buy from me, because you're not going to want to work with me if you don't want it. I've got to think, right, I really need what you've got. You really need what I've got. Then we passionately move forward. If you've just, I'm not bothered, well, it's not going to, how's that going to work?
Right.
It's just teaming up when you're not bothered. No, we've got to have something that we both think, yeah, this is going to really gel.
Absolutely. If you have no passion for the topic at hand, you might as well just stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a recipe.
Just save yourself some time, because that is what is going to keep your engine going. If you don't have that fuel, then you're going nowhere. So that emotion, and then if you can find a partner that has that same passion and conviction towards the same thing, it's like you really can create miracles.
Yeah, talking about, preparing for continuous growth as it relates to business structure, that's paramount. If you're not passionate, if this is not something you feel like you were called to do, if this is not something you're passionate about, you may get successful. So let's be clear about that. You may, but the sustainability of that is questionable, because the minute you burn out, you have nothing to pick you back up again. You just drop it and move on to the next thing. And so I think a lot of businesses don't make it through that first season that you talked about, Rob. One reason being that it wasn't something they were passionate about. Maybe they saw a quick out. Man, I think I can make a quick, 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, and it doesn't work as quick as they thought. Or, they were influenced by just the wave of, entrepreneurial videos. Like I can tell you right now, scrolling through my TikTok, once you watch one thing, the algorithm feeds you everything. So every other video is how to start an LLC, and you need to start an LLC, and you need to put your kids on payroll. So people get caught up in that but they're not really passionate about it. So I think that is key.
But I think to say, Oliver, I think the reality is people are just trying to, the journey of an entrepreneur is that biggest self-improvement journey you will ever undertake. I mean, if anybody thinks, oh, I know, I wake up one morning and I want to run a business, most people don't wake up one morning. They wake up one morning and they think, oh, I want to be rich. I can do, this is the classic, isn't it? I'm a lawyer, I'm working for a big law firm, I can do it better if I set up on my own. Well, actually, no, you can't. Because it's not just about, because you're not just having to come to your desk and leaving. You're going to have to do the accounts, you're going to have to do the payroll, you're going to have to do this, that, and the other. And I think but this is why I'm always amazed that people don't actually take selling as a professional skill more seriously. Because selling to me is everything. It is imbued in our DNA. We're pitching all the time. As Rob said, if you're negotiating with your kids, clean your room, do something. It's a negotiation. Selling is negotiating very often, right? But what I learned from Ian today, which I thought was really interesting, was as I asked him today, I put him on the spot today. Oliver, I think you were there. And I asked him to take one of our members through a trial of what he would do in his one-to-one session with her. And what became, and this lady is lovely. I mean, she runs fantastic Pilates courses and fantastic life coaching. But she might be the best Pilates coach in the world. But nobody could link why they should be going and doing Pilates. So she wasn't actually presenting anybody with a problem. In fact, many of them, as Ian said to me today, didn't even know they had the problem and therefore wouldn't link how her services could assist them in getting over a problem. So there was no, the amount of networking I do, I'm always blown away by people who just stand there and say, I do this, I do that, rather than, right, I can get you this, and this, and I can fix that for you. If you have this problem, I can solve it for you. Because people don't seem to be identifying problems that other people have up front so that you can come in to solve them.
I think some people don't even realize that some problems can be solved. I think a lot of us, especially when it comes to things that are internal, we think that, if I don't have the answer, no one can help me. Although therapy has become very mainstream now, people are seeking help to get some answers outside of themselves. But a lot of times people can't really identify their problem. It's like they don't know where to go about, how do I go about it? Where do I start? And it's kind of, they get all stuck in here and then they can't move forward. But sometimes we just have to kind of let it out and then let a group like us, Love Entrepreneurs, you just kind of pour into us. And then we can kind of help you, get to find out what is your problem and ask the questions that we need to ask to try to get you the answers that you're looking for. And then we can just go to work and, whip the brain around and really come up with some great stuff. But it's just identifying the problem and the ego admitting that it's even there.
Absolutely. Ian, sorry, you were going to...
So we were talking how clients were thick earlier on.
We're going to have to translate some of these words. Thick.
Yeah, clients are thick, right? Because they come to us with a problem that we solve, right? And we're the best solution to their problem. But instead of using us, they go to our inferior competition. They do it themselves, which they inevitably do badly and waste their own time because they haven't got our skills, our passion, our experience, our tool set. They completely ignore the problem, only to later regret doing nothing.
Yeah.
Thick as you like, right? Cheap, inferior competition, do it themselves badly, do nothing at all and regret it later. So they're thick. And then some people use us and they go for the bronze service instead of the gold. So they miss out on help, thick, right? We've got 3 things that help them. They pick one, thick. We've got a full course, but they go for a session, thick. We want them to do it for a year. They do a week, thick, right? And then we get annoyed because they're thick, right? But the thing is, they come to us with a problem and we've got the solution, right? So who's Who's the expert? The one that can help them out, or the one that's struggling? We're the experts, the one that's got the solution, right? So whose job is it to make it easy? The expert or the beginner? Is it the beginner's fault if he doesn't get it? Or is it the expert's fault because they haven't made it easy enough? Whose fault is it? The idiot? No, it can't be their fault, right? So they don't understand how our solution, whether it's a product or a service or a product and a service, they don't understand how it solves their problem. They don't understand how our thing solves it.
Yeah.
But sometimes they don't think they've even got a problem. And we're
Yeah.
annoyed because they don't think they've got a problem. But who's the expert? We're the expert.
We are.
Whose fault is it when they don't see the problem? It ain't them. They're not the idiot. We're the idiot.
We're the thickos. We're the thickos.
We haven't helped them see that they've got a problem.
That's
right?
really great advice.
Present the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, can I just use a silly example just to show you something using ice cream?
Go on then.
Yeah,
Lisa, can I just pick on you for a second?
go for it.
Okay, it's easy. It's silly and easy, right? Do you like ice cream?
Yes,
Okay, good. So imagine it's a lovely hot summer's day.
like
And
today.
you come and see me and I'm the ice cream man. And I say to you, Lisa, what flavor ice cream would you like? You can have your favorite. What would you like?
Oh wow. Oh dear.
Don't
Jamaican
say
ice
words.
cream. Great nut ice cream. Jamaican ice
Great
cream.
nut ice cream. So you're sitting there, yummy, yummy, yummy. You're eating your great nut ice cream. I've got no idea what that is, but it doesn't matter. You're enjoying it. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Your great nut ice cream. And then someone sits to the right of you and he's got the double great nut supreme deluxe. Right? So he's got extra great nuts. He's got chocolate sprinkles. He's got all the goos and the marshmallows and the flakes. And you're going, God, knackers. Why didn't you pick the double great nut deluxe special? Why didn't you pick that?
Didn't know.
Probably didn't know about it.
Wasn't offered
You
to you.
didn't know it existed. Right? So when they don't think they've got a problem, and we're the experts, we need to show them what the problems are. We need to remind them of things that they didn't even know existed. We need to remind them of things they hadn't thought were the problem. When they come to us and they say, I've got this problem over here, and you know they've got this problem over here, and we're annoyed again, we need to help them see. But if we tell them, you're wrong, you haven't got this one over here, you've got that one over there, they do this. No, I haven't.
Mhm.
Ego doesn't want to hear
Round
it.
one,
Don't want to hear
fight.
it.
Right, they're in a fight. You try to prove you're right, you prove them wrong, they go into a fighting position. If you've got a black cat, they've got one that's blacker, you're going to lose this. You can't win. And you're trying to help them, and they're in a fight. How do you help someone that you've started fighting? You've got no hope. But if you can help them see what the problems are, and then you can help them to realize what the real problem is, and then you can help them realize how bad the problem is. I don't know what you call it in America. I'm sure it's probably the same thing. Do you have where your hands all tingly? Do you call it pins and needles?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Rob, if you had pins and needles in your hand, would you rush to like accident and emergency at the hospital, push everyone out of the way, go out of my way, you fiends, I've got pins and needles in my hand, and shove everyone on the floor? Would you do that?
I don't think so.
No. Why wouldn't you? Why not? Because pins and needles isn't a big enough of a problem.
Right.
Well, if your arm was about to fall off, you might do that, right?
It might be done. It just might happen.
But when you see another business or a client and they look, their arm's about to fall off, they think they've got pins and needles, right? That's why they don't want to pay for your solution, because what they don't realize how bad it is. You knowing how bad it is doesn't help them until they see it. So they've got to know they've got a problem, because we've got to show them what the problems really are. We've got to help them realize what they think is the problem isn't, without it becoming a confrontation. Then once they've accepted the problem, because if they don't, you can't help an alcoholic who's not willing to admit he's an alcoholic. You've got to show them how bad that problem really is.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and only then, is it even worth mentioning you've got a solution. Up to that point, you're solving bugger all.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't worth it. I've got a solution. They're thinking, I haven't got a problem. I don't give a stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Walk through those steps again. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4. What was that?
Yeah, they've got to know they've got a problem. They've got to realize they've got a problem. They've got to realize what the real problem is. They've got to own the problem. They've got to realize how bad it is. And then it might be worth telling them you've got a solution. The problem is, what most people do is they don't bother working out if they've got a problem, revealing it. They don't make sure that they've got the person to agree which of the problems is actually the real one. They don't show them how bad it is. They just go straight to solution. I've got a lovely cream for you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not bothered. What do I need the cream for? And so that's why they feel like they're selling, because they're trying to get a solution. If they became the doctor and just tried to effectively sell problems, just do nothing else but try to get them to understand the problem they had, the person's going, oh God, I need to solve this, don't I? And that's what we were doing with the lady earlier on. She was talking about doing Pilates, and it turned out that might have, with back problems, it might be losing them £15,000 worth of business a year. Until I know it's costing, if it's £4,000 to solve it, and I know I'm going to make £15,000 in extra money, if I said to you, Oliver, if you gave me £4,000, $4,000, and I gave you $15,000 back, would you do it?
Done.
A complete idiot could get that right. Right? Because that's easy. So it's not about getting better at selling. It's just about making it easier to buy. Help people make better choices by helping them see the problem, helping them understand the solution, helping them see the impact of the solution, both emotionally and logically. How much money do you make them? How much money do you save them? How much time do you save them? Give them a quantity of it. Find out what it is to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a good map. I paraphrased. I might have paraphrased. I tried to write down what you were saying as I was understanding it, because that's know the problem you have. Like, so the fish in water, you know, that whole thing with the fish in the water. The fish passed the other fish. The bottom line is fish don't know they're in water. That's the whole thing. They don't know they're in water. So the same way people don't know they have problems, right? Same kind of thing. I don't want to go through the whole story. Interesting. So know they have the problem. Realize, identify what the true problem is. And that will come through some analysis, I guess, process improvement, and a whole bunch of other things I'm sure you got in the toolkit. But that will be the idea. Is that what it is? Realize what the true problem is, so we can start focusing now?
Just realize the true problem to a point where they're volunteering. They're choosing to accept it. You're not thrusting a problem on them and saying, you've got that, mate. And because they'll just go, no, I ain't.
Yeah, but very, very true. But you know, I think what I got from what you said today was show them how much it may be costing them to have this problem or to keep this problem.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the problem in the past is already, I know you're thinking Ian Genius he's amazing, right? He's fantastic. He's almost like a superhero. Look at this. You can't see it there, but I can't see into the future. That might surprise you. I can't time travel either. That also might surprise you. So it doesn't matter what you do for someone. You're not in control. You could teach them everything, but if they don't use it, you can't say, right? But if it's happened in the past, that's already done. So you can quantify the impact their problem has made to them in the past.
Yeah.
Because that's already happened.
Yeah.
And you can, just say, is it reasonable that things like this might happen again? And as long as what you're telling them is a reasonable story, using the number of conversations they have, the number of conversions they use, the amount of money they charge, and it's a close approximation of what reality is. Because most people, their answer to, if I went to a website and said, what's the purpose of me getting a website? They'll say, will it make you money? And I'll go, good, how much? The answers will be, I don't know, I can't tell, it depends, I'd be guessing, it's impossible to say. What a load of old cack. That's rubbish, isn't it? That's I might as well just roll the dice and work out if that's a good choice.
It's a great book, actually. Have you read The Dice Man? Have you actually read that book? That is an excellent book. If anybody hasn't read it yet.
On my list.
Have you read it? No, it's on the list. Oh, it's brilliant.
I'll put it on there.
The Dice Man. Very good. Sorry, I stopped you mid roll of your dice there. Carry on bowling.
So it's just, like I say, people say, right? Have you ever, I don't know, again, it might be an English thing, but they go, if they don't know an answer, if you ask someone, like, how much money will I make? Another stock answer is, well, how long's a piece of string? How long's a piece of string? Do they say that in America? How long's a piece of string?
I've not heard that.
I haven't heard that one.
As if the answer basically indicates that it could be any line, any distance. It does. You can't tell,
infinite.
right? What's the smallest piece of string you think you can ever remember seeing? Would it be like a tiny little bit, maybe a couple of mil long, something like that? Maybe a little fluff on a bit of a jacket. Would that be reasonable?
Yes.
And do you think the longest piece of string you've seen is probably in a big ball about this big, something like one of those big balls on a shelf?
Mm-hmm.
I would say.
Yeah, I'm a big sad git that researched how long one of those pieces of string is. It's about 500 meters, right? So now, how long's a piece of string, which is any number from 0 to infinity, now becomes 2 millimeters to 500 meters, right? There's a lot of numbers between 2 mil and 500 meters, but at least you've got a minimum and a maximum. When someone says, how long's a piece of string? That's anything from 0 to infinity. So, it's like, help people make a choice. When someone says, well, it's impossible to say. And how far do you drive in your car? It's impossible to say. What's the smallest distance you ever do in a day? 5 miles. What's the longest distance you ever do in a day? 200. So it's between 5 miles and 200 miles, isn't it, you pillock? It's not hard.
Right.
That's
You're
not
creating
hard,
a scale. It's creating a scale.
Yep. Yeah.
Just give me, if you say how much do you drive in a day, I can't say, well, is it 1,000,000 miles? Because that's in that range.
There's something. There's a number.
Something. Give me something to work on.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. The ability to set parameters. That's that's something that I talk about often.
Oh man.
In my line of work as well. So that makes sense.
I've got one more tip on this if anyone wants it.
Go on.
Love tip.
A lot of people say, oh, it can take a long time for marketing to work. It can take a moderate amount of time for websites to kick in, right? So Lisa, if you went on a long walk today, right? Let's say you went out for a couple of mates and you went for a walk. How many miles would a long walk roughly be?
For me?
Yeah, for you. What's a longish walk in miles?
1 mile?
That's a long walk for you, is it? About 15 minutes on the road.
Not often either. Like,
Okay, all right. It's relative. A long walk
I
for
do
you
it by minutes, okay?
so a long walk for you is 1 mile. Now, if you were to get in the car and do a long car journey, how far would you travel in a car in a long car journey?
My max has been about 7 hours.
7 hours, and roughly how many miles an hour do you do?
I don't want any tickets to come from this, but
yeah, I'm not going to give you a speeding ticket.
In those times, it might be like 70.
70, let's say 70, right? 7 hours at 70 miles an hour is 490 miles, yeah? So a long walk is 1 mile, a long car journey is 490 miles. The same word was used in both cases, long, And depending on the subject, it was a completely different number. So when someone says it takes a long time for marketing to kick in, I have got no idea in that world what long means.
You have no idea. It would depend on that person. It's a relative experience.
Yeah. So again, who's the expert? Is it the person who knows about websites, or is it the beginner who's asking questions? It's not the beginner. So when the person says it can take a long time for website, what do you mean in your world? Because long, I might be thinking 17 years. You might mean 3.5 weeks.
Right.
It's about giving numbers with language so that people don't have to keep guessing all the time. And if someone says, well, it's not always 3.5 weeks, it's between 2 and 5, we'll say it's between 2 weeks and 5 weeks, typically about 3.5. Now I know the minimum, the maximum, and the average. There's no guessing now.
Now you have a better frame of reference.
Yeah, and the numbers were easy. A 6-year-old child knows 2 and 5. This isn't mathematics degree level. This is just some easy peasy numbers just to help people understand.
Right. Easier than we thought, and not always the knowledge that we have readily available in our, in our thought process.
Yeah,
but with your guidance, we can know to take things to another level and go, oh, I can equate some type of a number to the situation to make it make sense to me.
Yeah,
and we need to know that.
And what Ian highlights there is you go to the experts to give an approximation of what would. Now, we asked Rob Johnson the other day, didn't we? We said, look, I think Ian, you said, what would I have to spend in order to expect to get some sort of Google ads return, on my money, roughly. And he was able to give you a pretty straight approximation.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant, because I always struggle with people when you ask, Google ad people that kind of question. They go, oh, well, how long is a piece of string? I'm thinking, well, it's longer or shorter than my bank account, actually. So, everything is relative, So, yeah. So that was good. But yeah, that's good. Really helpful. What's the worst client you've ever had?
Me?
Yeah. Just thought I'd just throw that at you.
Being honest.
I've never worked with any. For me, all I need is 3 things, and it'll be the same 3 things that you want. It's a burning desire to do better. If you want to help them more than they want to help themselves, we're knackered, right? They've got to have a burning desire. If they say, I wouldn't mind, that's not enough. That is not enough ambition, right? They've got to be burning desire. So that's the first thing. They've got to be honest, honest enough to start saying, I'm not perfect. If they're already perfect, well, they won't. It's not possible. But if they keep telling themselves they're perfect, how do you improve on perfection? There isn't anything left. So the first criteria is they say, I'm not perfect. Good. So at least there's somewhere between perfection and where you are. Does it frustrate you? Does it concern you? Is it annoying that you're not getting it? What's stopping you get it? Now, if someone isn't honest, they'll say, if I say to someone, would you love more clients, taking more services, charging more money? They go, yeah. I say, what's stopping you? And they don't want to admit anything. So they go, nothing's stopping me. Well, if nothing's stopping you, then why don't you do it then, you massive pillock? Right? Because if nothing stops you doing something, you'd do it, wouldn't you? So the thing is, now they're in a trap, because there has to be something. And they say, well, I say, you've got a problem. They say, I haven't got any problem. I just don't have any time. Okay, you've got a time problem then. I just don't know how to do it.
Right.
You've got a skills problem then. You don't like selling. Okay, it's a confidence problem. You can call it Granny's peach tea if you want. I don't care what you call it, but it has to be a problem, because if it wasn't, no one would get 96% in a maths test if they could get 100 and for a laugh. There's a problem that stops them getting the remaining 4 marks right. They ran out of time, they didn't understand the question, or they couldn't get the answer. So, but 96 out of 100 is brilliant. But people think, but there's still a problem that stops you going from 96 to 100. Problems aren't reserved for people who are struggling. Problems are reserved for people who aren't perfect. And once they realize that admitting a problem doesn't mean they're rubbish, it just means there's something they're not getting, and but they have to be honest enough.
Yeah.
And then lastly, they just need an open mind. If someone comes to you and goes, Lisa, I've already done what you've done and it won't work in our industry, and you think, I haven't even told you what I do yet, you're assuming they're assuming what you do is the same as what everyone's taught them, and you haven't even told them what you do.
Yep.
Are you open-minded?
We're working on. Yeah, that is so true. That's the number one offender, isn't it? Oh no, that won't work in our industry because of this, and this. And they never bother to ask the question or even listen to what you've got to say, because it might be. And this is what we find, isn't it, in Love Entrepreneurs all the time. Somebody will come from left field somewhere and come up with an idea that no one has even thought about.
All the time.
All the time. Who says it can't be done in your industry?
Right.
Might not be able to be done by you in your industry, but that's not to say it can't be done, right?
Right. Some things are just business across the board. It doesn't even matter what your business is. Some things are just elementary and are just necessary in order to actually ascend up to meet your goals. You just have to, but again, if you don't have that open mind, because if you're perfect, there's nothing more that can be said. Like Ian said, there's nothing that can be said to you because you have it all and you know it all. So you're closed to anything outside of yourself. So, that's a futile effort.
When people say it can't be done, straight away you're like, it can't for you because you're not open-minded enough. But they get it can't be done confused with I can't do it.
Yeah.
Now, I know you're looking at me as like I'm absolutely svelte. I'm ripped like a Greek god, and you're looking at me thinking, I bet you Ian can run a mile in under less than 4 minutes. I can't, right? I can't run a mile in less than 4 minutes, but it can be done, right? Just because I can't do it doesn't mean it can't be done. So all they've got to do is say, okay, just because I can't do it, that doesn't mean you don't know how to do it. And it's one way I found to get past people who are we want to help people. So you've got to try to help them be more open-minded. So one of the things I do is I'd say to them, have you got kids? And again, most people have kids, or they'll at least know of kids, right? And I said,
the concept is familiar. Yes.
Have you ever? So I say to my 15-year-old lad and my 13-year-old lad, they go, Dad, what's for tea tonight? And I'll say, it's curry for tea. And they go, oh, I don't like curry. And then I'll say, yeah, but you've never had curry. And they say, I know I've never had it, but I don't like it. Right? And every parent has had that on any number of subjects, right?
Yeah.
Then you go, well, just try it. And then I like to patronize my 15-year-old. So he's like almost 6 foot tall. I put the food on a little teaspoon and I do aeroplanes as if he was 1 year old. I go, meow, into his mouth. And before the food has touched his tongue, it's almost near his lips. He's spitting it on the floor, right? Because he's decided what it's going to taste like before he's put it in. All I want him to do is put it in his mouth, taste it. If he doesn't like it, I don't mind whether he likes it or he doesn't. What I object to is him not liking it before he's actually tasted it. So I say, well, what would have happened if you'd never had chips or chocolate? You'd have missed out, right? So once they go, God, I know how frustrating that is. And they go, that's because they're not open-minded. Now, when you say, look, what I need you to be is open-minded, they know how frustrating it is when their kids are not. And it helps them to go, right, I don't want to be that annoying son, daughter. And it moves them a couple of moves to get out of their own way.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yep.
Then I normally say, let's imagine I was solving the price value problem where people focus on price instead of seeing value. And I say to them at the beginning, if I could show you how to solve this price value problem, and 0 out of 10 is I can't, I'm rubbish, I can't do it at all. And 10 out of 10 is I can show you how to solve it. What number would you give me? And often they'll say maybe 8. And I say, that's a lovely number, 8. The problem is 9 and 10. There's 2 parts of you that doesn't think I can do it, and I haven't shown you what it is yet. Before I've even shown you, there's 2 parts of you that's resisting it and going in the wrong direction. Do you think that's going to help? and they straight away they're going, no, it doesn't make sense. So that's it. Honesty. I'm not perfect. I've got loads of frustrations. Good. The more problems you've got, the more solutions I've got. Burning desire to do better, not a bit of an interest, a burning desire and an open mind to new solutions. Not a 7 out of 10 open mind, a 10 out of 10 open mind. You give me
10 out
someone
of
with
10.
those, and it's gold dust time.
Gold dust.
Here.
Woo. Yeah.
Ooh.
Gold
All
dust.
true. All true.
All true. Burn desire, be honest, have an open mind. Somebody told me an open mind opens doors, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I heard. I heard it was
So
a thing.
many doors.
I heard it was a thing.
When you're closed, you just miss out. You
Mhm.
just miss out. Especially, it's one thing to be ignorant of something, because a lot of times we're ignorant, and it's not on purpose. And ignorant is not an insult. Ignorance simply means that you don't have knowledge about something. I am ignorant on many topics because I don't know a whole lot. I know about some things very well, but there's so much more to know, and I could never close my mind off to all there is. But some of us are really feeling like, listen, there's nothing you can tell me from the beginning. So how do you grow? And you're grown. I'm as big as I'm ever going to get, and I'm done. People who are constantly growing can't be done.
And you know
Done
what?
is not an option.
The other thing is, it's been proven, hasn't it? Those people who, as we get older, those people who still play chess or still learn languages or still want to learn things and are curious. My father never had a degree from a university, but he was extremely well read and knowledgeable because he was curious. He loved information. He thrived on finding out new facts. He was constantly finding out about things and was constantly amazed that he didn't know. How could he have lived so long and not known about this amazing thing? So yeah, it was. Curiosity is the key. We don't know everything.
I love that word, curiosity. What was it? What was that? What was that phrase about the cat?
Curiosity killed the
cat.
But it did something else. Yeah, it was a part 2 to it. It was something else. It was like curiosity inspired the cat or something now, because curiosity enlightened the cat. That's what it was.
After it died?
Yeah, because like you said, the curiosity is what opens the door, because you're curious for learning. And I've noticed that all my learning has accelerated. In any study that I'm curious about, whether there's religion or sales or marketing or theology or love or philosophy, I'm good. But something that I'm not interested in, I'm not. And the stuff that I'm good at, that I'm interested in, the information soaks into my subconscious, actually my consciousness deeper. I remember it more. It's more a part of me. So interesting. Curiosity. And I thought I was dumb, my whole life for a long time as a kid. Not really dumb, but maybe just not good with that school stuff, I thought, right? Because I just didn't have the right teacher. I didn't realize until I got in college when I was studying psychology, and I loved it, and I aced it. I was like, what? A's? I never saw an A in my life. What is this letter? I never seen this. What's going on here? But it's because I was interested. Curious. So there you go. Curiosity.
To me, it's the independent education in life that is the most enriching, because you seek it out yourself. It's something that, like for me, it was a little kid, and it was Egypt, the pyramids, and I was like, something's going on over there. There's something that those people have, and it just never left me. And then I went to college, and then it was like physics. Knowing I liked physics in high school, but then when I got to college studying strategic communications, I end up taking advantage of my college experience and studying physics, taking a few courses. And I've always said, like, I have friends and cousins that read a lot, but it's like, I'm not one of those person that has a bunch of books. But if it's an article in National Geographic or in my astronomy book or something like that, it was like, as long as I have the interest, I will read. Last year, I read the most books I've ever read in my life, and I couldn't believe I liked it. Because to me, I was like, oh, I only read if I have to. I was never like wanting to read for fun. Like I read because I had to pass tests and exams and boards. I'm not reading for fun. Like, that's nonsense.
Yeah,
But
serious.
when you are completely absorbed in something that is not just going into your mind, but it's uplifting you as a person
Yep.
and changing your life and changing your person, I can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it took me this long to get here, you know,
And
to actually enjoy reading. Oh, okay. Let me just say this. It's not always reading audiobooks. I don't know if it's cheating.
That counts.
It's a book, but you listen, right?
It
So
counts.
I think it does.
It's
not
ingesting.
cheating, really.
It's the goal is that you are ingesting the information.
Yeah.
Whatever way you
And-
have to take
Yeah.
it.
and that you are, that you're enriching yourself through that process, right?
Mhm.
So
And you feel it.
Yeah.
You
Right.
feel that enrichment, and you have that keep going back thing.
yeah,
And
water is
it's
water,
phenomenal.
right? Water is water. If I spray you with the hose, or if I pour it out of a glass, or if it comes out of the sky, it's all water, right? So
Absolutely.
ingest the information, and that's good
I
because
like that.
that curiosity and that thirst for knowledge and understanding that you're going to continuously grow, and then coupling that with some very practical things like what Ian talked about, are paramount to your success. Going back to what you were saying in the very beginning about this season that you talked about, that business owners go through, it's imperative that we understand those things as early as possible, because
Yes.
those things help us to glide through the stages
Yep.
without getting stuck, without feeling like we have to quit, because we're ingesting information that's building us up. It's also growing us in a way that allows us to be beneficial to those that we come in contact with. And we're getting some practical tips and tools to help us scale at the same time.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I'm loving
That's
it.
good.
It's a
Loving it.
process.
And you
For sure.
and having a community is going to be super helpful in executing on all the stuff that we were talking about today. Okay. Every single thing we talked about, from understanding you have a problem to be able to get the resources for that problem, to be able to talk through those problems, to be able to identify problems you didn't know you had. You get that from being inside of a good community. And what you'll see is every week we're talking about the Love Entrepreneurs, because this is a business fellowship. Ian was kind of sharing his experience earlier with this big fix and also what he does. But the whole experience is about helping each other and helping our businesses grow. And so I want you to get connected with one of us. I want you to come and get your big fix. And what a big fix is, if you just tuned in or if you've been listening and wondering, it's an opportunity to have your business analyzed by your peers, to get advice, to see how you can grow it, blow it up. Not like explosions into pieces, but like,
Not that.
enhance
Not that.
A nice blow up.
That's Rob's other show. The Red Rocket.
Right. And so you guys, you got any final words you want to share? The call to action is get your big fix. The website is I'm gonna put it on my profile, so you guys can come and check out and kind of see the website and see what we've been doing. I love those links. I didn't know those links were there. I want people to kind of see some of those past big fixes too. That's really interesting. I saw those earlier, Larry. So it's a lot of good stuff happening. You guys want to share anything about that?
I want to just say, by the way, it is free. It's free to do a big fix, and I say again, what have you got to lose? To lose is also a place, but it's also a verb. You've got nothing to lose, literally, by doing it. Come along, find out, get some free advice. You get a report written by me. I'll be doing one for Ian shortly. You get to do it over 2 days with 2 different audiences. You get 2 videos which are edited for you. You get a whole bunch of ideas that you've never thought about before, and it's free. So
It's free, and it's free.
Should I just start charging for it? Maybe that's fine. We'll have a slurry of people at the door.
Yeah, it's free. You just have to pay attention, Oliver.
Yeah, I like
That's
that.
right.
That's all.
That's what it's all about, and it's beneficial, and it's something that, listen, it's interesting that often we get into spaces, especially as beginning business owners and entrepreneurs, we get into spaces where we feel like we're in this thing by ourselves, where we are what we're experiencing, we're siloed in those experiences. And this is an opportunity for you to get out of that headspace and get into a place where individuals will help, who are willing to help. That's the key, right? Because many of us have found ourselves in spaces where people are not willing to help. We know that what we need is probably there, but they're not willing to provide it. This is not that kind of space. You will get what you need from people who are looking for the opportunity to give it to you. And so
yeah,
you have nothing to lose, like absolutely nothing to lose.
And everything to gain.
Everything to gain.
Mm-hmm.
That's good stuff.
Yep.
Julio.
Yeah. Parting words I'd like to leave, as usual, is just take some time for yourself as much as you can. I know, like, life just keeps going, and sometimes you feel like you're in a current that you have no control over. But I'm telling you, you do. You have more control of your life than you think, and there are things that we can do to increase the time for ourselves, and we got to be able to want to do that for ourselves, because there's a lot going on, and we have to also understand that a lot of what we need to know is just not on the surface.
Woo.
The most important things in life we need to know, we have to dig for it.
Woo. Gotta dig.
We have to get to a point where you're gonna see that, we all have our different skills here, and we all deal in reality, and we just have to get into it and just start to be more proactive in our lives and the moves that we make, and know that we are the ones responsible for it. We can hand our lives off to someone else, or we can take it back and really mold and create ourselves and be who we see in our mind's eye.
I like that.
So, take some time. Breathe. All right. Inhale 4 seconds. Hold 4 seconds. Exhale 4 seconds. Hold. Every now and again throughout your day, just take a moment, because we need that. There's a lot of stimuli out here.
Is that box breathing method right there?
It kind of felt like a box.
Yeah. Okay. That's beautiful. Yeah.
But I don't know if there's a name.
Take much time either, though. That's a good point.
That was 12 seconds. What was it? 4 times 4, 16 seconds.
Not bad. Thank you.
We can give ourselves that.
Yeah.
And now try doing that underwater. And
I wouldn't do that there.
Yeah. I'll hold for 4 seconds and blow out 4 seconds, then just do that.
A lot of it, like in succession.
Ian, give us some golden words, departing golden words.
Well, one, make sure you do the big fix, because you're going to get a load of ideas, you're going to get a load of help. There's going to be a lot of very supportive people who are taking their time out that are going to understand your business. In getting their help, you're going to understand their business a lot better, and you're going to get a really strong circle of support. And we all know, businesses this big, like we said earlier on, we all know this little tiny bit, and there's so much more we just don't know. And you'd have to be about 7,000 years old to be good at all the things. I've spent 24 years doing this. How long is it going to take me to do that? Yeah. People have already done it. So, just, you got nothing to lose, everything to gain. So I definitely volunteer that. And I love, there was those 2 bits. I love those little bits. I'm robbing them, and the open mind opens doors. I'm definitely nicking that. And it's free. You've just got to pay attention. I thought those 2 I'm robbing them.
Robbing them. That's good too.
Yeah, they're going to be robbed, and I'll pretend they're my own. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got some of these seeds, and I hope it fell into some good soil. Until next time. Business burnout can be so overwhelming. So many things to do and not enough time to do them. Deadlines to meet with time ticking away quickly. Multiple repetitive tasks that must be completed every single day. What if you could cut that list in half? What if
you could automate 50, 60, 70% of what you do every day. You would have less stress. You could get more done in less time. And your company would make more money. Less stress and more money? See how RPA can change your day.